honestly feels like kind of a miracle that Wicked is a movie that finally exists on the big screen. I remember hearing about this for the longest time. The production surrounding it, the development around it, when was it gonna happen? No clue. There were so many delays, but it is finally being released to the big screen in theaters this weekend. This is based on the very popular, no pun intended, Broadway musical of the same name, and it follows Glinda and Elphaba, played by Ariana Grande and Cynthia Erivo, long before they were the characters that you know them as in The Wizard of Oz, and it follows them as two students at Shiz University who are, at first, not getting along with one another. But both of them have different aspirations. Glinda is someone who wants to be extremely loved and well known by everybody and held in the highest of regards, whereas Elphaba is someone who is just trying to exist. She has green skin, which is something that a lot of people are repulsed by, and eventually, as the movie progresses, she's just trying to find some sort of acceptance. Eventually, Glinda and Elphaba work out their animosities and they're able to become the best of friends. But as you know the story of The Wizard of Oz, you know it's hurtling towards a destination where all of that is going to abruptly end. And so the movie is chronicling that aspect as well. At least this part 1 is. It's very important to note that there is a second part coming out next year, so this is only half the story that you're seeing so far. Wicked is one of those movies that, especially when you hear about the legacy of the musical, it has to be a daunting task for anyone taking up this production. Because it's one of those things where if you mess up even an iota of it, the world will sort of like not let you forget that it happened. And so I remember when they finally were like, hey, this movie's about to come out, I was like, oh, please, I hope this is good. And as incredible as it is that the movie does finally exist, it gives me great pleasure to tell you that it's actually really damn good as well. I really had the time of my life with this movie. I think it's a fantastic musical and a movie that works on pretty much every level that it needs to. I think if you're a fan of Wicked, this is gonna be your favorite movie of the year. I don't see a scenario where that doesn't happen. But let's say that you're somebody who is not familiar with a musical, right? Like let's say you have never watched it before, never heard any of the songs. Will it still work for you? I think it will. Because again, that's the idea of a movie adaptation. You want to make it accessible to everyone. And there's no point of this where it feels like if you've not had some sort of upbringing to the musical, it's not going to work as well. There are some references to things from the musical directly that you might, miss out on if you didn't know about a few things. But at the same time, besides those, it's really, really well done. And a lot of that credit has to go to how good a job it does in transporting you back to Oz. One of the reasons why the original Wizard of Oz movie is still regarded as one of the greatest of all time is because it had that feeling of, transcendency, of, putting you into that world and to make you feel like you're a part of it, going on the same journey as those characters. It feels a lot like that when you're watching Wicked. It feels like you're in the university as these students are and as they're just trying to get by. And I think the movie does an exceptional job of making that, happen once again, especially when it comes to the magnificent production design. This is a massive movie, and there are so many moments where sets are done in the most unique ways with some incredible camera work here and there, and I couldn't help but be amazed by a lot of what the movie was pulling off. Really, hats off to everybody involved in making those happen. Like, it is a genuinely remarkable feat in those ways. The costume design, the makeup work, all extraordinary. And those musical moments are fantastic. Of course, the soundtrack is one that is loved by many. And if you're somebody who is expecting a few songs in particular to be pulled off in the best ways imaginable, I have great news for you. You're gonna get your money's worth on that regard. I feel like there's a couple of them that people are really looking forward to, and they did a great job over there. It also has a slew of fantastic performances, particularly its two leads. I think Cynthia Erivo as Elphaba is giving the best performance of her career over here. I have seen her in a lot of movies at this point. I think she's a fantastic actress and one that every single time there's a project with her, it's like, yep, I think you're gonna do a great job. And she has not disappointed so far, but I would say this is the culmination of sorts. It's like all roads have led to this. And Ariana Grande as Glinda is complimenting her wonderfully. She's excellent in this movie and incredibly funny. There are moments with her where the comedic timing has to be spot on for certain jokes to land. And she nails those moments. There's one in particular that really had me like laughing. It involves her just sulking for a second, but they did such a great job of it. It's a very simple moment and you'll know which one it is when you see the movie. And the friendship that eventually forms between Glinda and Elphaba is wonderfully realized. Obviously, this is the crux of the movie. You can't mess this up. And they did a really good job of making sure that it was not messed up. So congratulations to that. As far as the supporting characters go, I really like Jonathan Bailey as Fiero. I haven't seen him in much else, I don't think so. I feel like most people know him from Bridgerton, but I have not seen Bridgerton. But I really liked him in this movie, so I thought he did a great job. I like Jeff Goldblum as Oz. He was really, really fun. And Michelle Yeoh as Madame Morrible was really great too. There was a lot of great supporting characters in this movie. You don't get tons of time with everybody because obviously the focus is on Glinda and Elphaba. But whenever they were on screen, they were really, really great. I think the movie does a good job, again, of making it feel as vibrant and as, the layered a world as it can. And as the story progresses, going from where they are eventually towards Emerald City, it's all very well executed. I do have a couple of minor gripes with the movie though. One of them being, I think the third act is a little wobbly. As things are sort of heading to a certain point, a lot of stuff happens which is very quick. And I was a little surprised at how quick it was because certain decisions are happening in the spur of a moment. Now, granted, it's a situation where it is, make a decision right now or, whatever, something's going to happen sort of things. But at the same time, the movie is already quite long. So I feel like some things could have, been maybe a little more extensive. It's 2 hours and 40 minutes, which, by the way, incredible pacing. I never felt that runtime. It's kind of remarkable because I never thought that, this is 2 hours and 40 minutes. When it ended, I remember looking at my watch like, wow, that was almost 3 hours. That's pretty great. I don't know if everyone will feel the same, but at least that was my reaction. But one issue that I did have with the movie was that some of the visuals, despite all of the praise that I've given to the production and the sets and the costumes and the makeup, there is this sense of overexposure to a lot of them, especially when it comes to the lighting, that was very distracting. And every now and then it sort of obscured what you were seeing on screen as well. A couple of sequences would work really, really well. And I think in those moments, it's like that's a perfect shot to have it, for instance. Like there's a scene involving a sunset and there's the spotlight effects sort of going on all over the place. I thought, okay, yeah, that works. But then there are other moments where it's not really needed and it sort of obscures the image, It's like this backlight that's coming at you. And I thought, why would you have that? Because it takes away from some of the visual qualities of the rest of the production and the sets, especially when it comes to all those background actors and some of that work over there. So I feel like it sort of worked against some of that. It didn't destroy the movie for me, obviously not. I already told you, I love the movie overall. But it's just one of those things where I was just a little surprised by the fact that they were, not being able to let some of those breathe in the best ways possible. I don't know if they have time to fix that for part 2. But I'm hoping that they do because it would make for, I think, an even better experience. And so I'm hoping that that's the case. But as it stands, like I said, I loved Wicked. I think it's a fantastic movie, and it's a movie that I think a lot of people are going to love. A lot of people at my screening last night were loving it. I have no doubt it's going to be a massive success. There were a lot of very happy people on the way out. And I'm excited to see what part 2 does. And I think John M. Chu, Cynthia Erivo, Ariana Grande, everybody involved in this deserves a round of applause for making it happen, for making it exist as well as it does. I'm going to give Wicked a 9 out of 10. Guys, thank you very much for watching. Look forward to more videos very, very soon. And as always, if you like this, please do subscribe. And I'll see you guys at the movies.